It's Thursday, March 23rd, 2017. Calling the Board of Selectmen meeting to order. First item on the agenda, approval of the minutes. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of March 9th, March 16th as amended.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Public comment? Hearing none. Public hearing on request of the Fruit Center for alteration of the licensed premises. Have anybody here for that?
Yes.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good
Would you
evening.
join us at the table, identify yourself for the record, and tell us what you're interested in doing here?
Yes, my name is Michael Modestino, and I'm the attorney that represents the Fruit Center Inc., the licensee. And this is my client, Steve DeGiusto, who's the general manager of the Fruit Center. He lives in Hingham, has lived here for years. Basically, what we're asking to do is to move the location of where the liquor sales occur from the front portion of the store at the corner of Water and Green Street to within the store. And the reason that we're doing that is that it was under separate ownership previously, and it made much more sense to keep the two businesses completely separate. But now that it's under one ownership, my client would like to move the liquor sales to within the store. We've submitted a plan, and it makes a lot of sense because it would be more convenient for the customers to be able to shop and pick out their wine or beer to pair it with their foods. It's a convenience factor more than anything else. And also, my client would like to, and certainly I think one of the other issues is it would be safer to have the liquor sales occurring within the store instead of at an exterior wall or near doors or anything like that. We're not out to enlarge the sales area at all. In fact, the sales area that's contemplated is going to be slightly smaller. It's going to be 484 square feet, 22 feet by 22 feet. It's going to consist of 3 aisles within the store, and they'd like to have the ability to keep up to 600 square feet in case they need it. But right now, they're going to be able to put the beer and wine, the cooler chest, in 2 aisles of wine. And I think on the third aisle, there's going to be, on one side, there's going to be chocolates and regular grocery type of items. So it's not going to take up that much of an area. And so my client would not be expanding retail sales at all. And in the front section where the current liquor sales are occurring, they would like to use that area for a employee break room, a small office, a staging area for flowers and fruit baskets. So they would not be extending their retail area at all. And it makes sense to them. They bought the property from the prior licensee on February 28th. This board approved the transfer on December 15th. So would ask you to consider the application for an alteration of premises. And we also have a request for extension of the Sunday hours, which I can address later.
Questions from my colleagues?
Not on the first issue.
Paperwork's all in order?
Everything's all set.
Will the entrance and exits change in any way as a result of this?
The entrance to the wine shop, the one that previous entrance, we'll only be using that now to take in deliveries of wine into that. We're going to store, we'll have some wine storage up there a little bit. So it won't be an entrance for
The public.
Right.
Public? I don't hear anything. I'll entertain a motion.
You want to do them separate?
Yeah.
I'll make the motion, I guess. I'll make a motion to approve the request of the Fruit Center, Inc. to alter the licensed premises so that the retail sale of wines and malt beverages be located within the interior store of the Fruit Center, Inc., instead of at the front entrance of the Fruit Center, Inc., where the retail sales of wines and malt beverages had been located when the license was owned and operated by Bear Cove Gourmet Wine Annex, Inc. This vote is subject to the approval of the Mass Alcoholic Beverage Control Commission.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay, you want to expand the hours?
Yes, my client, upon purchasing the license, they made a written request after closing to see if they could expand the hours to Sunday from 10 to 7 instead of the 12 to 6. It coincides with the operation hours of the store, and it would make more sense if they could utilize that time period.
Have you gotten any kind of feedback from the neighbors on that?
No,
No, I don't think we've heard anything from neighbors.
those are the hours we have up in Milton. I guess the laws changed months back to allow you to start selling it at 10 instead of 12.
Yeah, so Sharon Perfetti is our local liquor expert, and she put this forward, so,
Yep.
to
And there's a list
liquor licensing
attached.
expert, I should say.
to the paperwork indicating that these people got notice.
Yes, and there was public notice as well.
Okay. Anybody here?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, maybe, and Ted, if you know, I'm just trying to think, under mass law, what are the hours that they permitted on a Sunday?
Well, it used to be 12, and it recently was changed, as you just heard from the gentleman. I don't know the change, but I thought it was unrestricted based on the board's positions, but I don't know if you have anything different.
I'm sorry?
I thought it was based on the board's decisions.
Yeah, it's up to the discretion of the board, obviously.
How many other establishments sell beer or wine after 6 o'clock? I mean, for some reason, that was the other end of the equation. I thought a lot of them stopped selling at 6, and again, I'm not in the business, so I'm just asking.
I think it would be the other way. I think there's not that many that start before 12. That'd be my
Do we know
my
how many
understanding.
that are open
I don't.
after
We
6?
didn't do that research work. We certainly could.
I just like to know that information. It's just because I don't know if, again, I understand that what's pushing me in the way of agreeing is that there isn't a lot of feedback from the community against it, that's for sure. And I know that it's a good operation down there. I just don't know what our other establishments or stores or whatever are open till. And
Yeah, I don't really know myself. I live in Braintree, and I know a number of the establishments in Braintree are open from 10 to 7, and that seems to be the rule as opposed to the exception.
and that's a good thing for Braintree, but I mean, I don't know, and I'm reluctant to open a door that we haven't opened yet without more than just a brief discussion. But, maybe somebody can convince me, but I have some hesitation.
I think, well, Stop and Shop sells it
Yeah.
over there, but I don't know what
Are they
time.
open on Sundays, though?
Yeah.
They are open on Sundays, but I don't know what time they start.
Mentally, I'm thinking noon, but I'm not there
it was
often
blocked
enough
off.
to know. It's blocked off on Sunday mornings, but I don't shop there enough to know what their Sunday liquor sales hours are, which they would seem to me to be kind of the comparable.
They want to review it. I have a text in the Sharon, but she's obviously.
My point is this, is no reflection on the business at all, is that if we have something set up and now we have the option to deviate from that and earlier or later or both, I just don't want to do that at a meeting without some, thought put into it for somebody that came in first, which is, you're right, obviously. It's no reflection on you.
Yeah. Could I ask a question?
Well, do you already have a liquor license on Sunday presently?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you're really looking for another 2 hours? Or, well,
3
10 to-
hours.
3 hours.
Yeah, 10 to 7, yeah.
I'm not really inclined to bust your chops on that, to be honest with you. I'm down that neck of the woods. They run a pretty nice operation, and
When will this license come up for renewal?
December.
Okay, so I guess the other thing I'm thinking about, Paul, I think your point's well taken, both Pauls. This is also coming before us again in September, which might also say that if we grant this license as requested, and between now and December, if we get any sort of complaints or any sort of public feedback, we would have the opportunity to address it at that time. So I think both your points are well taken, but I'm thinking this is for about 9 months.
And I don't want to slow us down. Again, no reflection on the, I would probably abstain from the vote, only because I don't think I have enough information, but obviously if my colleagues want to vote, I would be, comfortable with that.
okay. I'll move that we approve the request of the Fruit Center, Inc. to amend their operating hours on Sunday to open at 10 a.m. and close at 7 p.m.
A second.
All's in favor? Aye. One abstention.
I also know that,
Thank you, gentlemen.
as someone who frequents both establishments, that one of the employees from the Bear Cove Wine Annex has now gone, is still going to stay working with you.
Karen?
Yeah, I think that's terrific, and it's nice to see her in there.
All right, Jen.
Thank you very much for your
Good to go.
time.
Effect immediately?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Okay. And the school department is here. So,
Yes.
join us at the table, please. What do you need?
Yeah, with the approval was. Okay. We filed with the ABCC.
Good evening, and thanks for taking the time to hear this request. I'm John Ferris, the business director for the department, for the school department. I'm here before you to ask the Board of Selectmen to take a vote to authorize the school department to sign a statement of interest with the MSBA before April 7th for the Foster Elementary School. This is the paperwork that you have before you is the language that came from the MSBA for, they need approval from both the school committee and the Board of Selectmen to sort of authorize the school department to go forward with an SOI, because they want to know that when an SOI is filed that, you know, everybody in town is actually on board with it. And the words in here, in the SOI document itself, there's there's 8 options that you can select for an SOI. And this one's actually being, is being set up for a future replacement or addition to an obsolete building in order to provide for a full range of programs consistent with state and approved local requirements. Then it also describes the programmatic issues with the building as well as some of the infrastructure issues of the building, because the language says provide a brief description. And the language that was in here came up from the previous 10-year master plan that had to do with Foster Elementary School. And the timeliness of this is we're in the process of preparing the SOI application now. My intention for that is to have a good draft of the SOI that will be presented to the school committee next Tuesday, so that they can see this is what they voted on the 13th to have the administration file this SOI or statement of interest on or before April 7th. So my intention, that's the deadline, and at that time I have to have all the paperwork and I have to do an electronic filing, and then I have to have minutes from the school committee meeting sort of signed by Liza that shows that we took that vote, and then the selectmen vote, we'll have to have that authorized and certified by the town clerk to show that the selectmen did in fact take that vote. And, you know, we'll run those down, because the whole package has to be to the MSA by April 7th. So that's why I'm before you now, sort of asking to take this vote, and that SOI will be prepared, and I'll be happy to show you the documentation. I believe you probably have another sheet in front of you where it's the board, the chair will have to sign the certification, and that's all the steps that have to be taken in order to find the certification. You don't have to take any action on that. I think you probably had, has a date of 2/17. It was just a sample that I wanted to attach, because I wanted you to know that after I submit this sample, this will come out, but it'll be with the correct date, the date that I had it on. And then it really has to be signed by the chief executive officer, which would be the chair from the Board of Selectmen, the school committee chair, Liza, and then also the superintendent of schools. So I wanted to, if you don't have this, I'm happy to.
They have the.
They have the vote, yes,
They have
that's the vote. This is the
that's
vote
all
I'd
they
be
have.
asking you to take. So I need to put that in, but then this certification will have to be signed off as well. But I can't get the real one until after I submit the vote. So at that point, I just kind of wanted to let you know at this meeting that once I submit, I'll have this form, and I'll be asking for the chair to sign it off, as well as the school committee and the superintendent.
So in a sense, our vote tonight is also certifying the chair, authorizing the chair to
Yeah, that
make
would-
that signature when it's needed in the form you need.
That would be perfect, yes. That's exactly why, that would be a great action.
Discussion.
Do we need to modify the motion in any way to reflect that, Tom, or?
At the end, you might
Ted, or
want
do
to
you
just say
think
to
it's-
authorize the chair to
Okay.
make that signature afterwards.
I would just say, while you're here and Dr. Steller's here, I just appreciate the collective effort over the couple of weeks to advance this forward to town meeting. It's going to be really timely, and I know that was a lot of work from a lot of people, so thank you.
We really appreciate the Board of Selectmen in this matter as well. It's very critical to us and very important to us, and we thank you.
Happy to do it.
Comments? Let's get to it. Who wants to read the long motion?
I apologize for the words, but that is the motion, so.
That doesn't
The only
matter.
thing I would ask is, does that say revolve? We usually say moved.
It could be moved. I mean, this was their language. We could say moved.
Okay, so I'll make a motion. Having convened an open meeting on March 23rd, 2017, prior to the closing date, the Hingham Board of Selectmen of Hingham, Massachusetts, in accordance with its charter, bylaws, and ordinances, has voted to authorize the superintendent to submit to the Massachusetts School Building Authority the statement of interest form on or before April 7, 2017, for the Foster Elementary School located at 55 Downer Avenue in Hingham, Massachusetts, map ID 38-0-01, which describes and explains the following deficiencies in the priority categories for which an application may be submitted to the Massachusetts School Building Authority in the future for replacement of or addition to obsolete buildings in order to provide for a full range of programs consistent with state and approved requirements. The building was built in 1951 and does not meet current code and significantly lacks environmental quality for natural lighting, artificial lighting, fresher air ventilation, and evenly distributed heat and cooling temperatures to enhance the educational environment. Classroom configuration does not allow for uninterrupted instruction. Several classrooms have no natural light. The building envelope and windows systems are inefficient, and the steam heating distribution system and electrical systems are failing due to deterioration. And hereby further specifically acknowledge that by submitting this statement of interest form, the Massachusetts School Building Authority in no way guarantees the acceptance or the approval of an application, the awarding of a grant or any other funding commitment from the Massachusetts School Building Authority, or commits the town of Hingham to filing an application for funding with the Massachusetts School Building Authority. And should I add that this motion will authorize the chair to sign all appropriate documents?
Perfect, perfect.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Best of luck.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it. Thanks for the time.
Good seeing you. Okay. This juncture, I think we're moving to appointments. We have Town Hall Study Committee discussion. No, we think that's been
I think we
kind
took that off
of
the agenda.
overcome
Yeah, we
by
Postpone that.
events, so. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to appoint David Alshula to the Council of Aging for a term ending June 30th, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
This time, I'll entertain a motion to appoint Richard Wetter to the Traffic and Safety Committee for a 3-year term ending June 30th, 2000.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Mr. Chairman, may I just maybe comment that on the appointments, that these are spots that are open, and I know we had a meeting a few weeks ago about trying to interview people and get some things going in terms of other positions, but these positions were open, and these folks were the only ones that were looking for these positions, so I felt comfortable voting to appoint them.
In terms of my own thoughts on that, I've known Dick Wetter quite a while. Well, he was a firefighter and later a fire chief. I was a policeman. So I think it's a good fit for traffic. And welcome, Dick, and thank you for once again offering your services. Mr. Al Schuler, don't know you as well, sir, but you're very highly regarded.
Mr. Alschuler is my neighbor, and I
go.
am thrilled to see that he's stepping forward. He's actually also serving right now as our MBTA rep.
That's right.
And has been doing a wonderful job. I think the updates that we've been getting have been very helpful and very timely, and we appreciate both of them willing to continue to serve the town.
So, yeah, we appreciate it very much.
All right, we've got a few more housekeeping matters. I'm going to read off the proclamations, or
Through the chair.
I'll entertain a motion to proclaim April 21st, 2017 to be Earth Day in Hingham.
So moved.
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
I'll entertain a motion to proclaim April 28th to be Arbor Day in Hingham.
So moved.
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
I like trees. I've planted many of them over the years. So I know that it's always enjoyable when I see a street tree going in. So it's good to see that continuing. I'll entertain a motion to approve the issuance of a special one-day wine and malt beverages license to the Hingham Nursery School for the Parent Fundraiser to be held at the Community Center on Saturday, April 8, 2017, from 6 to 10 p.m.
So moved.
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Entertain a motion to approve the issuance of a special one-day wine and malt beverages license to Hingham Community Center for the Hingham Community Center Fundraiser to be held at the Community Center on Thursday, April 6, 2017, from 7 to 9 p.m.
So moved.
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Entertain a motion to approve the issuance of a special one-day wine and malt beverages license to the Hingham High School Rowing Association for the, quote, Hoe Down, Throwdown, end quote, fundraiser on Saturday, March 25th, 2017, from 7 p.m. to 11:30 p.m.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. That concludes our regular business. Mr. Mayo?
Did have a couple of items for you. You had asked,
Pass it on down.
you had asked at our last meeting. Ted, I don't know if you wanted to.
No, I already got mine, it's in my office.
Did you want to go through it, or?
I asked Tom to put together some documents after speaking with the department heads relative to your request for us to draft a resolution opposing the compressor station in Weymouth. And what we've done is start that process. As you can see from all the relevant department heads, I think Bob Olson, Fire Chief Olson, was most clear in, what he needs to do before he can get you that information. So we've put together, what they're working on. We think we'll have it all back to you within, we've asked for them to get it back to us so we can have it for your next meeting and have some type of a draft resolution for you that will be consistent with the facts that these folks find for you.
Next meeting, April 6th?
The April 13th meeting is when we would like.
We're targeting April 13th.
Okay, so
correct.
not the next meeting. Yeah.
Not the next meeting.
Yeah, I figured I just wanted to be clear, so if people are watching and they know it's scheduled, at least tentatively for,
Correct. The April 13th date is the date you talked
April
about.
13th,
Correct.
yeah.
So if public wants to come in, they'll see what you've learned and the data you have, and we'll give you, obviously, we'll give you some language for that before that time, so you can tell us how you like it.
so we could, if, we'll have a couple options in terms of resolutions.
Yeah, we'll give you, I'm hoping between now and then, you will have looked at this and give us some feedback, but also that the department heads involved will have been able to give us complete feedback. I think what you see here when you look through it is the steps they're going to take, the questions they're going to ask, in terms of how the project would affect the town of Hingham, so that your response could be directed as, we have opposition or concern about this project because of these reasons, as opposed to saying you're against it because you're against it.
Sure, and I speak for myself. I obviously am against it. I'm against it, obviously, because it'll, at least from what I know, it'll affect our town, but I'm also against it to be supportive of our neighboring towns that it also affects, maybe in different ways, but, we're still all the same.
Correct.
South Shore communities, so.
Like I said, I just think it would be stronger for you if you can draw it to the particulars as to why it affects Hingham. As you go in front of permitting boards, generally speaking, if you can show the effect to you, then that's the most powerful position for you to be in, and we'll try to get you there.
Sure. I did, okay.
I just might ask that I know Mr. Mullally has come forward twice in the last few meetings, and if perhaps our office could just notify him of our current timing,
Mr. Mull, yeah, of
I
course.
think that would be really helpful.
Sure.
And I happened to be speaking to Fire Chief Bob Olson and about this topic, I think, in the last week, and he, to no surprise, has been on top of it and has read a lot of paperwork on it already, and I'm sure he'll use his expertise to present some facts to us that will be very helpful in our resolution.
Good.
Ted, is there?
Well, that's all I have for you.
That's all I have, thank you.
I would just ask that we've, and I thank you both.
thank you,
I think
Tom.
this is a lot of information to gather, and I also understand that there's other business that's going on, and in the next week or so, the lead up to town meeting is also significant. So I would ask that if, I think what I'm also hearing is that Ted and Tom are saying that we need to do our part, which is that as we're reading these, to give them input as to things that are significant to us. I might ask that we try to do that if the department heads are responding by Monday, April 10th, if we got you feedback before then,
That'd be great.
I think
Just so we know which direction and what to strengthen, well, what points you want us to emphasize in the resolution.
sure. And I would just ask if you need it earlier than that, let us know, but otherwise,
And we'll be feeding you data from the departments. We're not going to wait. If someone gives us to us earlier than the 10th, we'll send it out to all
Sure.
three of you as soon as we get it.
thank you.
Is there anything anybody else would like to say before we adjourn for the evening?
Just briefly, if I would. Thanks. I want to thank the Hingham Journal for putting an article in the paper this week about the fact that I wasn't going to run and why. I found it difficult and I didn't want to make a big deal of it at the meetings, and so I'm happy that it was presented through the Journal for the reasons, because I look back and folks that I talked to over the last few months, they were, supportive and asking, well, and even now, just let people know that I'm not going anywhere. I'll be very supportive of the town, and I'll be available, like everybody else is, on a volunteer basis to serve the community wherever I'm needed, and I wish everybody well in the future, including the candidates that are running.
Thank you, Paul. Mary?
Thank you. I was struck, I was glancing through the Journal just quickly, because my mail arrives late, and, Paul, when did you move to Hingham?
September 07.
Okay, so 10 years, and
Yeah, roughly.
I think within about 2 years, you had jumped into public service, and I think that's a good, I think that's a good example for people who come to this community, and I hope that everybody who comes to Hingham sees the great tradition of volunteerism, whether it's in schools or sports or town government. It's a town that runs on volunteers, and Paul's letter is a reminder that you can jump in as soon as you arrive.
2 years into the town, I was going into the 6th grade at East School, so I can't say that. Motion to adjourn.
You were playing sports or something. You were participating, Paul.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night.